Anybody know how to define meiosis? Somebody give me a definition for meiosis. I know you've slept since you took biology, but I'll bet you can remember this one. A special cell division that produces sex cells, sperms and eggs. Okay? Sperms and eggs that have only half the number of chromosomes. You don't want sperms and eggs containing 46 chromosomes. You got to get that number reduced down to half, 23. Okay, that's what it is. Now, just like at the beginning of mitosis, there's an interphase stage made up of G1 and S and G2. I need to be reminded here. What does a cell do during G1? Lily?
Its job.
Whatever its job is, right. Okay, the normal working phase of the cell. Okay? But then the cell pauses during S, and during the S phase, what's the cell do? Good, duplicates all the DNA during the S phase.
So what's the sex cell's job?
To grow up, mature, become a sex cell that's ready to make a baby. Okay? And then, of course, during G2, the cell's getting ready for that first meiosis division. Now, what I want to do is go to the whiteboard again, before you guys go to the computers, and look at just the essential ideas of meiosis, okay? Just the main ideas. So we'll put this over here. Get the lights back on. Okay, so if you'll look at page 11 in your study guide, at the top of the page, you've got a series of circles that illustrate a cell going through meiosis. So I'm going to duplicate that up here. Okay. So you've got one special cell in the ovary or testis, special cell, and it divides into to make two special cells, and those two cells turn right around and divide into again to make a total of 4 daughter cells at the end of meiosis. 4 daughter cells. Okay. Now, like we did when we looked at mitosis, we're going to look at one pair of chromosomes in here. Keeping in mind there's 22 other pairs in there. Don't draw anything yet. Okay? Now, I don't mean to be chauvinistic, but let's pretend that we're looking inside of a testis here. Okay? Testis, or testicle. We're looking inside a testis, a special cell that's going to go through meiosis and make 4 sperms. Let me just go ahead and put tails on these as a reminder. 4 sperms, or as Kermit the Frog might say, sperms. Can't you just hear Kermit the Frog saying, sperm? It just sounds appropriate, right? I don't know. Kermit? Okay, now, let's look at this first meiosis division here. Remember how in mitosis, every chromosome pair lines up like this? Remember that? They don't do that in meiosis. In meiosis, here's how they line up in the middle of the cell. They snuggle. So go ahead and draw that. Every chromosome pair snuggles like that. Actually, we don't call it snuggling, but it kind of looks like that. Okay. So that you got 23 snuggling pairs lined up in the middle of that cell, getting ready to be pulled apart. Okay? Now watch what happens. When the cell gets ready to split in two, watch what happens. Look at how these chromosomes then pull apart, just like this. And then the cell pinches in two. Now we've got 2 cells where we just had 1 before. So go ahead and draw this. Okay. We're just looking at just the bare essentials here of meiosis, the basics. And then when you go to the computer the computer lesson, you'll layer on a little bit more information. All right? Got a quick question before we move on. How many chromosomes were in this cell to begin with, in this plastic diagram up there?
46.
Okay, in real life you got 46 in here, right? In our plastic model we've got 2, right? Remember, that's a chromosome. And we're looking at 1 pair of chromosomes. The reason it looks double is because it duplicated itself back in the S phase of interphase, right? And remember, as long as it and its duplicate, we call those chromatids, as long as they're still joined together like this, we call the whole thing a chromosome. Once they split apart like this, from that point on, then each of these is called a chromosome, and that can be kind of confusing. So it's like, okay, how many chromosomes do you see here? 1. Now watch. When they go through anaphase and they pull apart, now how many are you looking at? 2. Okay? That can be confusing to a lot of people, but that's how it is. So we've got 2 chromosomes in here. In real life, 46, like Lily said. And then when they do the first meiosis division, how many chromosomes do you see in this cell? 1. We've reduced the number in half already, see? 1, 1. In real life, 23, 23. Okay? Anybody want to take a guess as what's going to happen to the chromosomes as we go from here to here? Angie, what's going to happen? They're going to split. Those chromatids are going to pull apart. So we're going to have this happening. Like this. And then like that. Okay? So go ahead and draw that. It's like this, the basics of meiosis. And guess what? Frogs do that, fish do that, chickens do that. Okay, people do that. Toads do that. Mice do that. Cockroaches do that. All sexually reproducing living things do that. Meiosis. When they make their sex cells. Okay. All right. We got 4 daughter cells. We call them sperms. Now, of course, if we're looking at the formation of egg cells, it looks a little bit different from this on the outside when you look at the cells. But on the inside, the choreography of the chromosomes is the same, whether you're making an egg or making sperm. Looks the same. Okay? All right. Now, what I want to do now is rewind the film back to here. Okay, rewind the film back to there. Now, at the bottom, I believe on the next page, don't you have another diagram like this one? I think so. Aha! So we're going to look at it again, and this time we're going to layer on just a little bit more information. Okay? All right, we're going to do meiosis again. Now, what we call this first division here is we call that meiosis 1. Make sense? Claudia, what do you think we call this one? Excellent. See how easy genetics is? Okay. All right. And guess what? I'm going to use a different color here. I think I'm going to use, I like green. Okay. What this cell is going to do is, the stages are kind of like mitosis. it's going to go through a stage called interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. Sound familiar? But since this is meiosis 1, we're going to call this interphase subscript Roman numeral 1, prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, telophase 1. Can you guys see the green very well back here? Yep, okay. Interphase 1, prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, telophase 1. Now, before those chromosomes that are snuggling together, before they pull apart, they do something really interesting here. They cross over and they swap segments of one another. They exchange segments of each other. They swap genes. And it might look like this. Okay, I'm going to try to do this without breaking them too much. They line up gene for gene, and they break and they rejoin, and when they pull apart in the process, they end up having swapped genes. See that? You know what that reminds me of? Okay, imagine, any of you guys ever watch like a James Bond movie, spy movie, James Bond? Okay, imagine James Bond. Okay, he's a spy, and he's at this fancy ball, a dance. Okay, and he spies another spy across the room. And she's this beautiful spy, but she's on the other side. She's the enemy, but he's going to try to make friends with her, try to get some information. You know what I'm talking about? And so they meet on the dance floor and they start dancing, slow dancing. And during the dancing, that's like a pair of chromosomes coming together, right? During the dance, he reaches around and swipes a high-tech necklace from her that has like a radio transmitter or something in it. Swipes it without her knowing it. How would that happen? I don't know. I'm making this up as I go. Okay? He swipes something from her and she doesn't know it. At the same time, she reaches around, she swipes his billfold without him knowing it. And then when they pull apart from each other, they go their separate ways. She's got something that belonged to him. He's got something that belonged to her. That's what this reminds me of. You got to use your imagination. Okay? See how they're different? Cell splits in two. You see how we've exchanged some genes here. You can think of those red and yellow beads as genes. A chromosome, a long string of genes. So go ahead and draw that. And now when we do the second meiosis division, we go through these stages again, only there is no interphase. During meiosis 2, there's no interphase. We go right into prophase 2, metaphase 2, bless you, anaphase 2, telophase 2. All right, so chromatids pull apart like this. Okay, so go ahead and draw those now. Those are the 4 daughter cells of meiosis. They're going to shrink down, they're going to grow a tail, they're going to be called sperm cells. Now there are a few more terms, vocabulary words that are going to get layered on here when you guys go to the computer tutorial. I just want us to look at the choreography of the chromosomes right now. Okay? Making sense? Now look at those 4 sperms. What do you notice about those 4 different sperm cells? Anybody? What do you notice? Excellent. They're all different. Each one's unique. Okay, looky here. This chromosome is all yellow. Mostly yellow, a little red. Mostly red, a little yellow. All red. Each sperm is unique. See that? And guess what? When you do meiosis in an ovary, when an ovary is going through meiosis and making egg cells, each egg cell is unique in terms of the combinations of genes that they contain. Each one's unique. The sperm that made me was totally different than the sperm that made my brother. Right? And of course the egg too. Makes sense? Crossing over, that's what this is called. That's what this is called when these chromosomes swap genes back in here. It's called crossing over or recombination. And actually that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Anybody know how many sperm cells a guy makes in his lifetime? Daquan, you got any idea? I'll tell you what, it's lots. They ought to respect us more, right? Lots. All right, a typical guy is going to start making sperm cells maybe around age 12. 12. I mean, it varies though. You know, at puberty, okay? That's when you start making those sperm cells. Okay, let's say like 150 million a day, made fresh daily. Up until his 80s, 90s, contrary to popular opinion, he's still making sperm cells. Contrary to popular opinion. All right, now let's estimate conservatively. Okay, let's say he makes sperm cells for 70 years. Okay, conservative estimate. 70 years. 150 million a day times 365 days times 70, right? That's a lot of sperm cells. And if you run out of things to do with your friends at lunch or whatever, you could calculate how many sperms that is. 150 million times 365 times 70. It's going to be in the trillions. And no 2 sperms that a guy makes in his entire life are identical. Each one is totally unique. And each egg that a woman makes in her lifetime is totally unique. Okay, so Marina, if when you were formed, if it had been another sperm out of those like 150 million or so, you wouldn't be you. You'd be somebody else, right? Kind of a weird thing to think about. Yeah, kind of strange. So if no 2 sperms are alike and no 2 eggs are alike, then
No one's alike.
no 2 people are alike. You were getting ready to say something, Lily.
The amount is 3.83 to the 12th power.
That's a lot of sperm cells in a lifetime. It's incredible. All right, no 2 people are alike. Now, I want to show you a video clip of somebody who I have a lot of respect for, who's no longer around. But he said it very clearly a long time ago. Okay? Because of crossing over during meiosis, no 2 people are exactly alike. Listen to what he had to say. Check this out.
You are my friend, you are special. You are my friend, you are special to me. You are the only one like you, my friend. I like you in the daytime, in the nighttime, anytime that you feel's the right time for a friendship with me, you see. Friend, special. You are my friend. You're special to me. There's only one in this wonderful world. You are special.
You guys too young to know who he is or was? You don't know who he is or was? Mr. Rogers had a children's show on TV, and he always sang, well, he didn't always, but sometimes he would sing that song, telling kids, little kids, you're special, there's nobody just like you. Okay, I'm thinking he should have gone on and said, because of crossing over in the formation of your dad's sperm and your mom's egg, that's why there's no two people exactly alike. So that's like the main reason, okay?